Once upon a time, there was a department store where not only old Hollywood would shop, but anyone who wanted to look glamorous would go. In this amazing opportunity, I stepped back in time to experience that classic Art Deco glamour. Opened in September 26, 1929, this store brought shopping into a more residential area rather than people having to go to downtown Los Angeles to do their shopping. Bullock's Wilshire brought art and commerce together that had never been seen before. President John G. Bullock and P.G. Winnett, who was the vice president and general manager, greeted excited guests to its opening day. You guys, I'm at the famous Wilshire Bullock's building. The Bullock's was a department store of the 1930s, and this event is actually going to celebrate Jean Harlow, hence my Jean Harlow bag. So let's see what this video will bring, shall we? I would like to invite you on this mini tour vlog of the fabulous Bullock's Wilshire, along with some trivia of the history and its famous patrons. We are here in the parking lot. I was just in awe of the lighting of Bullock's against the night sky. There is the original parking lot entrance, where people were able to drive all the way through before adding this huge glass wall in 1965. This grand entrance made everyone who entered feel like a star. A mural painting above displaying the car culture of Los Angeles named Spirit of Transportations. In this photo, you see how this entrance served as a place for people to pull up with their cars, along with the valet service. Mae West preferred curbside service, never once stepping in the store, but rather be parked right outside, being handed her chosen merchandise. Before entering the grand entrance, I decided to show the exterior of the iconic building. Now here I am outside of the Bullock's Wilshire building, and I wanted to show you guys several things. Here's the outside of it. But just imagine like this beautiful big tall building was once home to many celebrities who loved to shop here. It's like crazy. But all the beautiful Art Deco and everything. And now it's a law school, but they kept the preservation pretty good. It's a library. Bullock's Wilshire, the iconic side of the building. I mean, even just look at the side of the walk. Back then they had huge sidewalks. Huge. Look at that. Now I know that Heel Hauser came here, so that was a big reason why I really wanted to come visit here. And just to admire the beauty of everything, even though it's not like the best of areas anymore, but at least right here it's pretty well preserved. But look at that. So beautiful. It's tall too. Like imagine what's at the top. I can only imagine what's on the top of that building. Here's some of the history of it. One of the onlyest classiest buildings left in this whole strip. So here's Bullock's. The school took both this building and Bullock's Wilshire. So let's go back inside. If you guys haven't seen, there's an episode of Heel Hauser when he comes visits the Bullock's Wilshire. I would highly recommend it. It kind of combines when it looked like in the 90s when it was closing and around when they opened up the law school, so it gives like a before and after of it. Just imagine being back in the golden age of this store and seeing the grand ceilings. You'd be hit first with these beautiful Bauhaus-inspired elevators that have been graciously restored. We then see the glass cases of a mini display of the history of not only Bullock's Wilshire, but of the school. This was filled with huge cases of perfumes and cosmetics. These beautiful ceilings illuminated the room that reminded me of Metropolis. The room once had many glass cases that sold various cosmetic products such as lipsticks. These glass cases included beautiful memorabilia and tributes to the grandiose structure. There are even beautiful examples of some of the clothes they would sell. What was unique about this store was that it was built in the suburbs rather than the city. People would do most of their shopping downtown, but this store revolutionized how people obtained their goods. Here we also see some items from the history of the school, as it has been around as an institution since the early 1900s. Passing the glass cases are a beautiful display of other dresses that were at one time sold at Bullock's Wilshire. Unfortunately, the tour didn't include the side doors, as they were the current library for the school. One of the most fascinating rooms inside was the saddle shop. During the 1930s, celebrities and notable people alike loved polo. Celebrities like Clark Gable and Will Rogers would purchase horse equipment. They even had special closets where patrons would try on their riding uniforms. In the same room, there was another section called the doggery, where people were able to purchase dog accessories like sweaters and collars. Here, we are going into the elevators where most of the event was being held. How many times can you say you're riding an almost 100-year-old elevator? I want to see something cool. The elevators. Look at that. Definitely a retro feel for sure. And it's great. I might buy a book. We'll see. Why not? To learn about Wilshire. We arrive on the second floor into the period rooms. We are here at the Louis XVI room, which was Eleanor Lamar's stylish interpretation of Marie Antoinette's boudoir. The room had such beautiful chandeliers. They also had this piano, which the guide said wasn't original, nor this piano was part of the original setup. Next to it were this old-looking brass air vents. There was also the Louis XV room, which supplied fine accessories. It later became the Coco Chanel room. Here we have the Directoire, which originally sold formal evening wear and eventually turning into a fur salon. One thing that Bullock's Wilshire was notable for was them having models present the fine clothing for its patrons. There were such beautiful paintings and recreated furniture. I wasn't sure which of these pieces were original, as it wasn't noted what was original. What was amazing was this room was the spots Jean Harlow took photos by. Here, I tried recreating her photos. Went by this frame, and I saw this one. And this one by the mantelpiece. This made me feel I was stepping back in time with Jean. So this is more photographs she took, and I recreated them, so I'll put them here. But as you see for this one, she was by that door by the standee. See right there. But just being in this classic room just makes you feel like it's elegant, you know? That's the big grand mirror, too. It's like all the design that does not exist in a lot of buildings, you know? Doors. Look at this doorknob. Look at this doorknob. Which I don't think opens to anything. In the first room we stepped into, that is where the Jean Harlow presentation was happening. Here are some samples of the talk. Here, author Darrell Rooney discussing her parents.
All the photographs really gives you an idea of the relationship between them. So her mother's name is Jean Harlow. She's the original. She was born in 1889, and her father was Skip Harlow.
This is Jean Harlow's school days, when she was in California, as well as a caricature book.
Writers and actors. And you'll see a girl in the top row with her hand reaching over to someone else's shoulder. That's Harleen with that.
Here are arrows
tussle
pointing
hair.
at Jean.
And one of the things about her was she was very tactile. She had to touch people to feel connected to them. You can see in the picture in the top left, once again, she's just got her hands all around her friends. This is a 1924-1925 yearbook page.
Here is a clip discussing Jean's first marriage.
The second, and they both fell helplessly in love with each other. Mutual love. They wanted to get married. Of course, Mother Jean is happy about this because he's got money. Things are going to work out. Her problem is that Harleen is only 16 years old.
As well as the beginnings of Jean's movie career.
Oliver Hardy. So this is from a film called Double Boogie. And supposedly when her grandfather in Kansas City saw this two-reeler and saw his daughter parading around in her underclothes, he immediately called and said, "You get out of the film business. This is not what you do. This is not what Harlows do." But what Harleen did was she went to Hal Roach and she told him that having a movie career was ruining her marriage. He didn't want to be the reason that her marriage would fail, so he let her out of her contract.
Here is the explanation to Jean's connection to the Bullock's Wilshire.
A photo shoot where Harlow was photographed in the directoire salon and up in the Salle Moderne, up in the 5th floor. So she's photographed in countless evening gowns, fur wraps, negligees, and she even kept one, the one that is the standee. She kept this one gown, and you see her wearing it at the Shrine Auditorium. So I think that was her payment, her gift for doing this photo shoot. She was also up in the Salle Moderne, where she wore tailored clothes, day wear, coats, and sportswear. And you can see the glass blocks behind her when she's in these joggers. And the glass blocks that are there now are not the originals. The originals were black, and they just crumbled over the decades and have been replaced by clear glass blocks now.
Here is the reason Jean had to change her hair color.
A big change in Jean Harlow's world. All the bleaching that she was doing for her hair started to make it really brittle and dry to the point where it started breaking off at the roots. And so something drastic had to happen. She could not keep bleaching her hair.
That was some of the highlights of an amazing presentation on the short life of Jean Harlow. On the second floor, there was even a lingerie room, as well as a beauty salon. I'm not sure if this was the salon or not, or if it was just a storage room. Leaving this room, I'll go and explore the famous tea and cactus room. The third floor, Bullock's Wilshire, serves college and high school students. The fourth floor was the children's department that was filled with toys, clothes, mothers and children's restrooms, a nursing area, a barbershop, and a maid's room. The fifth floor brings the other iconic rooms. Here, I arrived on the fifth floor and I see a beautiful kitchen area that looks straight from the 1930s. Here, at the tea room, is where people would come to eat while they were shopping. Some patrons would end up shopping all day because of the delicious meals. Is this the famous tea room? Or at least the entrance of it? Oh, it's part of the kitchen. Let's see what's over here. Oh, wow, look at that door. Many celebrities loved dining at the tea room, including John Wayne, who famously said, "Where the hell is the tea room and all those models?" Wow. Imagine right here. Here's a small clip showing Hugh Hauser at the tea room.
Here we are walking through the tea room, and originally when Bullock's Wilshire was built, this was one of the chicest places to be in Los Angeles. There were two lounges, the Cactus Lounge and this was the Desert Lounge, all decorated in Art Deco. tea rooms are things of the past. And
Yeah, but
Bullock's-
now, you know, don't say things of the past,
Well-
because this is one of the places I like to come eat.
Well, I have eaten here for years, and you know, we see so many people at the tables. We see mothers with their daughters and their daughters, generations of people who have shopped at Bullock's Wilshire and eaten in the tea room. And it's very sad because today is their last meal here.
Over the years, the tea room has had several renovations.
So this is where Hauser must have done his episode talking about the tea room. I should have rewatched it, but he used to have carpet in the first one, so they must have done a lot of renovations to it. But we're getting higher and higher. I'm wondering what's on the really top floor, honestly. I'm more interested in this, honestly, than the what's over there. Ooh. Just think about what has changed. Just think about it. This is basically the only building left. Oh, look at that. I see what that place is. I really hope they use it. I should have looked it up. But it's a really just getting some of the ceiling and all the colors. Just amazing, beautiful colors. This is how any 1920s, 30s house would look like. Cactus lounge, grand piano.
Next, we move into the cactus room. This served as a type of sitting area. It was decorated as a type of desert with warm colors used to relax its guests. I want to explore the hallway next door.
It's over here. A hallway. It gives you an eerie feeling, doesn't it? At least for me it does. Let's get the background. Looks like it's an exit. Just imagine who could have got out to some exit. I need to learn how to be farther away from me. So close to having it more closer. But I saw a room next door, so I'm gonna show you guys right now. Get that.
This is not the original couch where she sat on, but they replicated it to look very similar. That goes as well for the picture on the back. That one is not the same as in the photograph. Here, I'm trying to replicate the photo.
Right there. Huh. I've been replicated. There you go. Block tile carpet, graphic print. Yeah. Yeah, there was no way that couch was gonna be the same.
I wasn't able to access this wall for this Jean photo, but I recognize that glass arrangement.
Kind of weird because you're trying to have like a 1930s feel, yet you have modern technology. Gotta keep up with the times though. Here's another beautiful photograph. Jean Harlow. So that was right here.
Here, I'm trying to replicate the second photo in the room.
Standing right there. Super beautiful room.
Now, we are here leaving the salle moderne, and next I want to show the vintage looking women's restroom. Here, we see a waiting room for those who want to fix their makeup or have one last look in the mirror.
It's like a waiting room. for the restroom.
Here is the actual restroom that has such a retro feel with all of the offbeat colors.
Oops. Ooh, the bathroom looks vintage. Shoot. Look at the green sinks and everything. And the windows. These are windows how they used to look like. Even green toilets. Brilliant.
Leaving the restroom, I want to check out the waiting room
Just
one more
imagine
time.
Jean Harlow looking in the mirror. Or whoever. Darn shadow. Okay. I know I feel like I have to be quiet, but I know the mic picks up pretty good.
We return back into the cactus room and then into the elevator foyer, which need to be beautifully highlighted. This included a beautiful, colorful tile sink, glass cases showing interesting artifacts of Bullock's Wilshire, as well as the old entrance to the office of John G. Bullock.
This is the door.
Unfortunately, that was not part of the tour. Here we leave the foyer as we start to reach the end of this magnificent tour. We went over how the beautiful Jean Harlow purchased here, but other notable people such as Greta Garbo and Marlene Dietrich would purchase men's trousers. Clarkgable, Carolelombard, gloriaswanson, Zazu Pitts, who would drive in with their Stanley steamer up until the 1950s. One story I found interesting was from former Bullock's president Walter Bergquist, who was an assistant buyer at the time, recounted, "One day, he was instructed to take a pile of coats and suits to fitting room 12. Bergquist did as he was told, but when he opened the fitting room, he discovered over the rainbow chanteuse Judygarland sitting on the floor, naked, sipping a martini. Even future actresses such as Angela Lansbury and former First Lady Pat Nixon were employees of Bullock's who always had fond memories of their time here."
I keep thinking some kind of ghost is gonna keep popping up because it is kind of eerie a little bit.
They even had a table full of Bullock's Wilshire merchandise, which was, of course, I had to purchase a bag, along with some greeting cards. Bullock's was also a beautiful backdrop for many films, such as the 1937 film Topper, starring Cary Grant.
Look here, Marion, if you're here, I'm going to be very angry. In fact, I am angry now. I won't have you upsetting me all the time.
Of course I'm here. You didn't suppose I'd leave my toppy, did you?
Careful, here comes the bellboy. Take this bag, will you? Why are you staring at me like something? I don't know what.
Aren't you the guy that cost me my last job?
Never saw you before in my life.
Hey, did you notice something funny about that guy?
That guy ain't funny. He ain't even human.
Well, I'll take charge of this.
Here's Alfred Hitchcock's final film, Family Plot. Hitchcock himself was an avid shopper here. I would say Bullock's was a movie star herself.
I wonder if I could speak to you for a couple minutes, Mrs. Hannigan.
Oh, sure. Do we know each other?
No, I'm Frank McBride of the law firm of Ferguson, and McBride, and I just wondered if you'd mind answering a couple questions about your background.
It was so bittersweet leaving the beautiful building. Bullock's has such a beautiful power to draw you in.
Wow, that was a really cool event, guys. I don't know how often I'm gonna go in a classic elevator. Guess I'll go to the bottom floor. But it was so cool to see it. Just like learn about Jean Harlow, love her work, everything, and come to a classic building like this.
I don't know when the next time I'll visit again, but it was such an inspiring event.
I think Hugh Hauser would be proud. Hugh Hauser. Why did I say it like that?
I highly recommend this amazing tour. I was blessed to have attended this event, as not many of these iconic buildings still exist. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Well guys, I would definitely recommend, if you can, go to the Bullock's Wilshire building, because it is a time capsule in itself. Art Deco, everything, colors. I mean, just look how beautiful this building is. Like, look at it. You feel you're part of old Hollywood when you're in there. But thank you guys for watching Historical Films, and please join me in my next adventure.
I dedicate to preserve the history of not only film history, but the history of Los Angeles in my own way. I appreciate your support and have a wonderful day.